The main thing about this game are the character / weapons. I say slash because they are the same thing. Quickly, I want to say that my channel and knowledge primarily comes from Genshin Impact, so I will be making references from that game to hopefully make it easier to understand. So in Genshin Impact, characters and weapons are separate, but in Tower of Fantasy, they are the same thing. The backstory and easiest way for me to explain it is that from an online database, kind of like a cloud or something, once your character acquires a weapon, they download the combat data and style of the best character to ever wield that weapon. So that's why people refer to these weapons by names of characters instead of the weapon itself. You also have the option of putting on a skin, or more accurately, activating the simulacra of that character, but it is not necessary. If you are someone who enjoys female characters over male characters, or vice versa, don't be sad if you pull a character like King, because at the end of the day, you can just use your own custom character instead of using the skin of King. The main thing is figuring out what weapon and playstyle you enjoy the most in the game. You have access to 3 weapon slots and can switch between them. Now, talking about more of the weapons, each of them do have their own element, and those elements are Volt, Ice, Fire, and Physical. But their interactions are not as important as it is in Genshin Impact. What's more important is that there's 3 types of weapons, and those are defense, DPS, and support. Defense weapons are generally your heavier weapons, and they're pretty good at breaking shields. DPS is your damage focused weapons, of course. Supports are your healers, buffers, and shielders. Combining weapon types gives you a resonance, just like combining elements in Genshin Impact. Having a balanced resonance increases your final damage and damage reduction by 5%. Your shatter and your healing effect.
It will rotate as we go throughout the season, but I'm going to refer to these as a banner. So this banner right here, the weapons galore, and then over here you have the rebirth of clemency. This is the Nemesis banner. So we have these two, and then down here at the bottom right, you have the black nucleus cache, and that will be the 3rd and final banner. So keep those in mind. We have 3 that you can currently do. So the first one over here, this weapons galore, it's going to use this currency called the gold nucleus. So this is very important. The next one is the red nucleus banner. And then of course down here you have the black nucleus cache. So this currency right here, the black nucleus, is pretty easy to obtain, but you also don't want to waste them. So I'm going to explain one thing, or I want to make one thing certain. You don't really want to pull on this banner if you're trying to get an SSR. So if you go over here to the more info, the chance of getting an SSR weapon is only 0.3%, which is insanely low. So this banner right here is mainly for getting SRs. So I'm not really going to touch this banner so much. We're going to go back to the gold nucleus. So we have the gold nucleus banner and the red nucleus banner. Now let's break the gold nucleus banner down. This has a pity system. If you don't know what a pity system is, it essentially means that after you spend a certain amount of gold nucleus, you're going to have a chance of getting like a guaranteed SSR. And that is the case with this one. So once you hit 30...
I saw this tweet from Techie Tech pop up on my timeline. He says, man, y'all announced so much stuff on Tower of Fantasy's release date. What a coincidence. Clueless. And that's in response to, as you can see here, Genshin Impact saying special program announcement. Let's take a look at this. They got juicy new features coming up. And coincidentally, yes, this announcement of version 3.0 special program preview has apparently been announced right on the release day for Tower of Fantasy. Is Genshin Impact scared of Tower of Fantasy? Or is this just a wise business choice? Maybe a bit of both? TechDone would also say, thoughts on Tower of Fantasy. This is a pay-to-win gacha game with limited pay-to-win in PvP. Story is okay, about the same quality as Lost Ark. Combat is decent, still getting used to it. World's good. In general, a lot of A to B tier content with less S or F tier content. So does that mean it's kind of just like middle of the road? And he says he agrees with Asmon, and I have not seen Asmon Gold's video on this. Dude's entertaining though, I'll definitely check that out. A lot of Genshin creators have recently been hopping over to Tower of Fantasy, and I say hopping over loosely, I'm not saying they're like giving up Genshin Impact entirely. They're trying out Tower of Fantasy though. How that actually plays out in the future is to yet be determined. You could go down the list here, I should probably scroll this a little bit more for you. Okay, you get the point. Now, in regards to a general consensus, I've seen many comments across YouTube and other places where people say that the competition will be good for Hoyoverse, and I fully agree with that. I do think Hoyoverse, and specifically Genshin, needs the competition.
One of the first things you might actually notice playing around with Tower Fantasy's combat is that you're not just stuck to the ground as if your boots are made of pure tungsten. No, you have the freedom to go into the air and start attacking, and not just for a couple seconds, for quite a while actually, about as long as your stamina will let you, which does actually have a practical use. Another thing worth mentioning is that you can actually dash mid-air as well, and your dashes don't consume your regular stamina bar. They have their own bar comprised of 3 smaller segments that regen over time. But here's the deal, when you just regularly dash spam mid-air, you fall a little bit every time. Here's where attacking comes in. Every time you attack, you actually suspend yourself mid-air and prevent that fall from happening. At the end of your chain, you can even do a lot of attack spams to regen even more of your dashes and get a 4th dash out. But there's more than that. We can go even one step further than that. With the help of this sword at the end of the attack chain, you can actually initiate a special spinning plunging attack that will continue to go forward for a pretty efficient stamina cost. The different weapons all have their own unique type of attack, so I encourage you to experiment yourself with different weapon types and see what other methods of movement you can come up with. But I found this to be a particularly interesting one that actually can take you pretty damn far from a good height. Now let's talk everyone's most likely least favorite way of traveling in open world games: swimming.
She has English voice acting now, so we're gonna go ahead and let her say something to us.
Hey, I'm Coco Ritter. I can help with healing work.
She is a healer, bro. I'm glad she told you, because I was about to and I hadn't gotten to it yet. She is a healer, bro. Now she uses a staff, not the one I'm holding, but this one. Uses this ice staff. She's kind of icy, bro. She got a nice fit, I can't lie. Her fit is cool as shit, bro. And so is the staff. Cold shit right there, bro. Cold shit. Go ahead, Coco. The first advancement level, after dodging, summon a healing bee that follows the user and heals the ally with the lowest percentage of HP within 15 meters. So this is if you have a team, you'll have a little healing bee that follows around and heals somebody. Heal for 25% of attack and restore 50 weapon charge points each time and last for 25 seconds. Let's dodge first, okay? We hit a quick dodge. Nothing's going on, right? It's just cool looking dodge, but nothing's happening. So we come into the weapons again, we level it up to 1 star. Okay, so now if we hit a dodge, swift dodge, there's a little healing bee, and you see it's healing me. Cool little guy. I have the lowest HP. He should follow me around. Yep, there he is, follow me around. The 2nd star is more HP, which will help with the heals.